and welcome to another episode of Brujo 101. What the hell was that? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Brujo 101 with Martin and Thanya.
Oh, you called me Thanya.
A.K.A. Ashe.
Yes.
Happy New Year. We haven't been here since last year. This is the first episode of 2022. And, you know, holy shit, we were gone for a minute.
We were.
The COVID got real for both of us. So there was the holidays, and then there was COVID.
In that order.
In that order, yeah. And so, you know, I went through my bout. You went through your bout.
We actually got it like at the same time.
Yeah, I think you got it right after I did.
And we didn't hang out.
No.
Totally opposite.
But everybody and their mother seems to have caught it or is catching it. Mm-hmm. My sister's a teacher for LA Unified School District. She was down to, I think, 4 kids in her class out of 20 or 19.
My son he goes to Downey Unified, and in his classes, he says that there's like 10 kids in class.
Yeah, dude.
So.
It's this particular strain, and I guess the with Omicron is an upper respiratory, so it's a lot easier to deal with than the deep lung one, which is the deep one is the one that makes you lose your taste and your scent, right? You can't smell, and it's a bitch, supposedly, that one. This one, you know, I'm not gonna. At first, I was saying, "Oh, it's not no big deal," but it was easy. But I will say this, Thanya, the effects linger like a motherfucker. I'm still coughing shit up.
I agree. I got COVID, and then it wasn't that bad. Like, it was like 3 days. And then I got bronchitis.
Oh, shit.
So then that was bad. And now I'm like, fine. I don't have bronchitis anymore. But I mean, it kind of worked because I ate a lot less. And I feel like that's a good start to my diet in this year. Right. Okay. So I got to look at the positive. You know, everybody in the house got it except for my mom, which means her magic is just stronger.
Her magic is
and
badass.
She did remind me of that. So she left to Mexico.
COVID.
Yeah, she was like literally like, and it went away. And she still has not gotten it.
That's awesome.
Knock on wood.
She's still in Mexico?
She's back.
Okay.
She's back. She's back because we had to reschedule so many things, so many readings, but she's back. She didn't get it. But yeah, I feel like I get tired a lot, which I'm not used to.
The fatigue is a thing.
Right? Like, it's tough.
And the cough and the fatigue. And then I get a random headache here and there, which I'm not a headache guy, dude. And even in my worst hangovers, I wasn't like a headache guy.
One of my friends, Vanessa got it too. And she got a lot of headaches. I didn't get any headaches, which was good. I just got really like congested and I felt really tired. But that was it.
Well, look, I feel good. This is 2022. We're 2 years into this goddamn pandemic, and I think if you haven't figured out how to live with it yet, you're probably not going to figure it out. So just, you know, you're fucked. That's it. I got nothing to say to you. You've had 2 years to figure shit out. And if you're still waiting for
you're
shit,
welcome.
You know what I mean? Like, if you haven't figured it out, fucking figure it out tonight. After you listen to this, like, holy shit, I should figure it out. It's been a whole 2 goddamn years.
And
but
I mean,
do you know what I mean?
I don't care if you like are one of these people who doesn't want to get vaccinated. Like, personally, I don't care. I'm vaccinated. Everybody in my family's vaccinated. But
you gave in to the tyrannical government and the draconian
I travel.
mandates.
I gotta bounce, so I gotta be vaccinated. I'm sorry, but also I feel like half the people who message me tell me they're not vaccinated have no problem like doing lines of coke or buying marijuana off some dude off the street. Like, come on now.
Look, I don't care if you get the vaccine or not, and I don't think that we should shun. We're making it sound like if people and the last thing I wanted to do is come on the spiritual podcast and talk about this vaccine, but this is fair. I think that to tell people you must get vaccinated because you're a threat to us all is horrible, because there's plenty of vaccinated people spreading this fucking thing as well.
So I don't think you should get vaccinated because you're a threat to us all. My brother's not vaccinated. You guys know my brother. He ain't vaccinated, and he's a public servant.
Okay.
Right. So his fiance is not vaccinated. My 74-year-old father is not vaccinated, has not gotten COVID, travels like crazy.
Okay.
But I do think you should get vaccinated. Like, I made my mom get vaccinated because were she to get sick, I was down for 3 days. But I've known people who have died, not as a direct cause of COVID.
Absolutely.
But the complications didn't help.
I am not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but by the same token, I'm not a vaccine a huevo type of guy either. Like, you know,
like, do your own thing.
Do your own fucking thing. If you don't want it, you don't want. Listen, there's plenty of people out there catching shit because they're fucking without a condom. We're not saying you have to put on a condom. You got to be safe.
I mean, you probably should.
But it's your choice. But a lot of people like raw dogging.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you guys something too. Not a personal note. But
you can't make people put on a condom.
I'm not gonna say make people put on a condom, but I will tell you this: every year,
yes,
babalaos in different countries, different states, pull what's called a letra del año, which is the reading of the year for the world, right? It tells us what's going to happen in 2022.
The last one talked about the pandemic.
This one, again, talks about the pandemic in the way that it's going to morph into different things, right? It's not going to be the same. You know, there's going to be Omicron. There's going to be another one.
There's many babalaos that do this.
In every state, there is a group of babalaos who will get together and pull it. In Cuba, the Asociación Yoruba pulls it. There are some babalaos who pull it for their home. Like I have a friend who pulls it for his house, and he'll tell you what he pulls. I usually go off of the one from Cuba, and I apply it as it needs to be to me. Cuba is an island that lives under a dictatorship. They're going to be Osorbo every year. It's going to be bad every year. Just use common sense. But then when you see what they say, like they're saying, there's going to be a lot of variations of this virus, right?
Sure.
There's going to be a lot of unemployment.
So mutation.
There's going to be mutation.
And there's going to be unemployment, right? Which is, I think,
pretty general. But they also predicted the tsunami.
Okay. They
predicted the volcano that already happened.
Yeah.
I have it posted on Ashe, so you guys can see it. They predicted the volcano. And they also said that there's going to be a lot of new diseases. Not only this, there's going to be new diseases, right? So I just feel like whatever you feel safer doing. Like, I'm not go everybody get vaccinated. We live in a democracy, but I just want you guys to live. So whatever that means, knock yourselves out.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, it is 2022, Thanya, and last night was the first full moon. Wolf moon?
I don't know if was it a wolf moon. It was a full moon for sure.
It was a wolf moon, and I think because of the sounds of the wolves during the winter, when it's all bright like that. But it's a wolf moon.
Really?
Yes. Well, that's what I read anyway, unless the site that I was on is full of shit. But it was a powerful full moon, I feel.
Okay.
For me, but we've known each other for a while, and I've always kind of fucked with the moon.
I want to tell you that Thanya messaged me yesterday, Thanya Estrada, and we were talking about full moons, and I sent her like the full moon calendar. And then as soon as I did that, I thought of you, because I went outside to put some water for baños, right? And I was like, I wonder if Martin is naked outside right now. Like, I wonder if his neighbors are like, there goes that naked guy again. Like, I totally thought of it. And I was going to text Chiki's too. And then I forgot because I got tired.
So
like,
we were...
that's true. Then I remembered your backyard is very private.
So we were having... so it was Hooter's birthday, and we got together for dinner yesterday. And Paul and Hannah joined us. And when we walked out, we were leaving. What the hell did I do with my water?
Did you see his water?
Anyway, when we were leaving, I looked up and I said, "It's the first full moon of the year." Yeah,
the wolf moon.
You. I go, yeah, I know. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, it's a wolf moon. Like
Here
just,
we go.
I know. Just
I can see Hooter already.
I know. Well, actually, that's exactly where I'm going with it, right? And so then, so then Hannah says, "Oh, I got to put up my crystals tonight and make some moon water. And Hooter's like, he just made the like a noise, right?
That's funny.
He just fucking literally went,
That's so funny.
and then he goes, he got you too, huh? Like
Oh my
he's muttering it
God.
under his fucking breath, right? Now, this is somebody who's been fucking, I think Hannah might have told me about moon water one of the first times. I don't know. Maybe I told her. I don't remember how the heck. But yeah. And people been charging their crystals with the moon for a very long time. This isn't new. And so I thought it was just funny as hell because, you know, there's people who have that belief, and then there's people like, are you fucking ridiculous? Are you really putting water and making moon water? And then there's other people who are like, what are you doing with those fucking rocks and putting them outside? You know, now, and maybe, you know, am I ridiculous, Thanya?
This is not a question for me, right? Like, I mean, come on, I talk to rocks. I throw coconut. I don't think anything's ridiculous, though. I don't think anything is ridiculous. And I like skeptics. I do. I like skeptics.
Absolutely.
Hooter's his own kind of skeptic, though, because Hooter is like totally not open to anything. Like, hi, Hooter. Like, he don't want to know. So then he must think something exists because he doesn't want to know. Because if you thought it didn't exist, you would just be like, oh, you're full of shit. I don't care. But he's more like, don't tell me nothing. I don't want to know nothing. So
Whoa. Keep your ghost to yourself,
and
lady.
then whenever he's around me, he like puts something in front of him, like I can read his mind or something. But there's like, which is funny because there's various people who do that with me. Like they'll put something in front of them, and I'm like, I'm not reading your mind. Like I can't. I mean, I probably could, but I'm not. But I think that nothing is ridiculous if it makes you feel better.
Sure.
And if you're not harming anyone. But I do see a lot of like the new witches and people who are getting into things like I'm about to get banned off TikTok again, Chikis, because all I do is argue.
And you know, I love that you just said that because earlier, right before we started the podcast, all I did was make a comment and you said, we're not doing that in 2022. But anyway, tell me about how you fight with the people on TikTok, please.
I don't fight with them, but I feel like I'm going to give you guys an example. I'm not going to say who it is, but you guys watch TikTok, so you'll find it. There's somebody who went to dinner at a restaurant and is like, I was, feeling down. I went to dinner by myself. She put a glass of water. She put a plate. I'm going to have dinner with spirit. So she put food on the side.
Okay.
So can you explain this to me? Because I'm a santera and I practice the mesa blanca, which has to do with muertos. And nowhere does it say that you can go out in public in a non-sacred space and now you're communing with Egun. That doesn't make... And what Egun are you communing with? Are you communing with your Egun? Are you communing with the Egun that died on the sidewalk where you're sitting? Are you communing with the restaurant's Egun?
Okay.
Who are you communing with, girl?
Okay. Is this person, is said person a santera as well?
No.
Okay,
But she is a goddess.
Okay, now look. Goddesses do goddesses things. Santeras do santeras things. So the way that you do your ritual should not be what dictates how everybody else does their ritual.
So
is
that's
that fair?
Fair, but we have to use some common sense. So I said, since I practice this, what are you practicing that you're doing that? Explain it to me. And I was polite about it, and she replied, and she said, usually I put an altar in my home, but I felt like just putting an altar there, which I replied to, who's the altar for? The person who died there? The waiter's person, the person who walked by? Who are you communing with? And how are you doing something that's so sacred outside of the Olive Garden, let's say? That doesn't make sense to me, and it shouldn't make sense to you.
I get it, but here's the thing. I think it's like the people that put that set a plate on the holiday table for their dearly departed, right? They're like, oh, this is where...
Like at home?
Sure. Yes.
Different.
Okay, no. So why can't you take the dead people with you to the freaking coffee shop?
Because you're not only taking your dead people.
So when you're so say you're home, right? And I say to myself, you know what? This is the chair that that Nana sat on, and Nana liked pie, and we're all eating pie. Let's go put a fucking piece of pie over there by Nana's chair.
Well, first of all, I would never recommend that.
No. But I'm just saying, whether it's recommended or not, there's plenty of people that do that. There's plenty of movies or programs where you see people. This is where Tata sat. This is where Nana sat. They like this. Let's put a plate for them. Like, you see that happen quite a bit. Now, you're saying that is 100% taboo, it sounds like.
Well, I like to do things that make sense.
Sure.
Right? Because I feel like that even as a witch, whatever you want to call me, bruja, santeria, whatever, I feel like it has to make sense. In my home, there are various altars. There's altars for spirits that have a lot of light. The bóveda, we have a bóveda. I have a bóveda in the back. I have a bóveda with a prenda. We have various things going on because each thing needs to be represented, right? And if you have, let's say you have a spirit guide and the spirit guide is for you to work and you to help, I find it like very almost sacrilegious for you to go out and because you want to have something to post on social media.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And you're not doing it for your spirit. Because you can't even, there's not like you could put up a glass wall and say, oh, this is only for my guy. Like, no, that's ridiculous. And what happens? There's a lot of people right now. I'm going to tell you guys, even the Letra del Año says that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to become very spiritual / religious this year. Why? Because of all the things that are happening in the world. And we're having like a tremendous exodus from different places. So we're getting a lot more knowledge from various belief systems, right? So I feel like there's a lot of people looking for a light. And then you claim to be this light, but you're not the light. You are perpetrating like falsedades that's not how things work. I don't think being a santera is for everyone. I don't think being a palera is for everyone. But I believe there are basic spiritual practices and basic dignities that you should give to Egun if you really want to connect with them.
Egun is spirit.
Egun is spirit, right? Or you know, like you want to talk to spirit. There's basic things that you don't do. I post a lot of stuff on Ashe. I've posted like even pictures of the prenda, but there's a line that I draw because things are sacred, right? So I just have a problem with like these new witches who are like, I saw somebody else putting a candle and then they're burning the candle. And then she's like putting, I don't fucking know, like honey. And she's like, your man is only going to think of you. And then she's like eating the honey. And then she's like, I don't know, doing something phallic-y with the honey. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is so stupid.
She rubs the honey
this
all over
is
her
so
body
dumb.
whenever
Because
she's told.
But you know why they do that? Because everybody associates Ochun, the goddess of the river, with honey, with getting your man. But in the real world, there are orishas in the pantheon of Santeria that are better for getting your man. There's Oba, Yemaya. There's a lot. Ochosi, like, hello. But it's like a parrot. Like, they're just repeating and then adding. And then I'm just over TikTok. They should ban me, Chiki.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you're not. There was a comic back in the day when I first started. And when he'd see comics doing things that he didn't agree with, the way this is not the way that this should stop, blah, 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 he'd go and he'd fucking check them. Right? And so that people called him the comedy police. Who are you, the comedy police?
I'm the Santeria police.
So, no, that's what I'm saying. Don't get yourself trapped in this place where you become the Santeria police. You know, where it's like, or the bruja police.
But I feel like it needs some policing.
Does it, though? Because, I mean.
It does.
Look, I'm a big okay, this is tough. No, yes and no. Yes and no. I'm getting better at being live and let live. If I just sat here and said that I'm live and let live, I'd be a hypocrite. Because here's the thing, and I was telling Chiki, all the preaching that I've done as of late, or a lot of the preaching that I've done, was to attack the religion, not to edify, not to
clarify things,
not to but just to literally point out the hypocrisy and the bullshit within it, because you become angry. It's like you
I
see
get angry
that
now. That's
and
true.
you get angry and you become and you try to and you're like fuck, and it's like, hey man, you gotta fucking live and let live, and which is, like I said, I'd be a hypocrite if I said that. Yeah, that's my mantra, because I sit there and I'm like, I used to be the guy that somebody just walks up and they're wearing a crucifix or a medalla of the Virgen. And I walk up and I'm like, you're Catholic? Yeah. It's all bullshit, right? Like, nobody asked me, nobody nothing, and for some reason I just want to volunteer that out there. Like, the shit that you believe, it's because blah 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 blah, and then I just go off.
Colonization.
And not just that. I'll sit there and talk about the political dynamics that were going on when the Bible canon was made, and who made it and who didn't, and then at the very end of the last chapter, and anybody who fucking adds or takes away from this shit, you're gonna have the worst punishment ever. Like, so don't change it. Now, that's a great way to fucking end the goddamn thing, right?
I am more respectful, but you know what makes me angry? I understand what you're telling me.
Yes.
And it takes a lot for me to post. I literally see 100 things, and on the 101, I'm like, I'm fucking done, right? But I just, like, I really, 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 really respect spiritual practices of all sorts.
I get it.
And it's so bothersome. I want to tell you that I went out, and I was at the store, and there was a girl in front of me in line. And she had she had like the Santeria beads, but on her wrist. Whatever. Those don't exist in Santeria, by the way. So then I'm like minding my own business. I have my son with me. He's like, Mom, why does she have that? And I'm like, I don't know. Somebody gave him to her probably. She hears him. And she turns around. She's with her mom. She's like, oh, because they gave them to me. She's telling me, like, I didn't even ask you, but okay. She's like, oh, they gave them to me because, I'm a santera. And my son's looking at me like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do, right? And I go, oh, actually, I'm a santera, and we don't use that, And if they gave you that, things probably aren't working the way they should. You should see someone else, and da-da-da. Her mom is with her, and her mom goes, you're right. Things have gone bad for her ever since she went to that person. Da-da-da. And she called me. I go, and I'm so sorry that she had paid like $900 for them. I told her, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I was really nice about it, but that doesn't exist.
See, look, so in my world, what gets me angry is, and again, not to be redundant here, but we've talked about the preacher selling miracle blankets for $1,500 goddamn dollars. This will change your life.
Put your bills under the bills under it.
Yeah, you hide your bills under it, and they magically get paid. Fuck making payments on them. Send me the goddamn money. Send me the money. I'm gonna light this candle, and you're gonna get rich. Now, so that's $1,500 for the blanket, $900 for these collares or bracelets or whatever. It happens everywhere. And again, just like I try to police that and say these fucking assholes, these goddamn hypocrites, I'm just a lunatic screaming.
I think I come off as a lunatic.
Do you see what I'm saying? And I don't know that you can be in that many places at one time, because there's way more more
of them than there are of me.
Yes.
So,
listen, one of my favorite shows right now is on HBO. It's called The Righteous Gemstones. Have you seen this thing?
I think I saw like one episode.
Okay, go watch.
Are they the preacher family?
Yes.
I have.
They're the evangelist family. Oh my God. It is fucking... They just did season 2.
Oh, I think I have to get through season 1, but I'll watch it.
So go through season 1 again. I think that they drop a new episode every Sunday.
Okay.
So season 2 is only 3 deep, right?
Okay.
Episode 1, oh my God. It was one of the funniest. I was literally, because I've been there and I've seen it. And when you start seeing you want the Jesus, you want the power, you want, and then the people are falling. Eric Andre plays this minister, and he just kills the role. The guy's funny as hell. He's got the Eric Andre show. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, he's just funny.
Okay, so he's on, bro. This guy showed up out of nowhere and just like, oh, fuck me. And again, it's a brilliant way,
like a satire on what's going on in the world.
Yes, and I think you have to laugh at the ridiculous. See, the problem is that most people want so badly to believe that they're gonna find love that they're going to have financial blessings, that they're going to have health, that they're going to have salvation, whatever it is that they are so hungry for, there's so many predators out there ready to sell them exactly what they're looking for. And
that's the problem.
But that is the problem. But this is a thing that's as old as time, honey.
So I'm going to try not to argue with everybody. But you know what it is? It just really, it's so sad to me. Like I've had, I guess thankfully, I have a lot of people who come to me after being bamboozled, right? And I'm like, oh man, that sucks, you know? Because I would lie to you if I told you that people didn't bamboozle me. I've been in Santeria 22 years. Of course they've bamboozled me. They've overcharged me. They've done things to me that I've had to get redone. Of course, right?
Do you know how many people, and this happens not just in spirituality and religion, every walk of life, this happens. You'll be at the market with your kid and somebody comes up to you in a suit, you know, and they said, wow, is this your son? Is he an actor? Is he a model? He's got a great look. My God, here's my card.
Does that really happen anymore?
Oh, it happens. It happened to Chiki and Naomi.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I was with her the first time. Yeah. And she's like, she looks at it and I'm like, you know, they must have seen the Rhode Island Guadi in her because they thought, oh, here's a sucker. No.
That's never happened to me, Chiki.
Okay, see, so yes, it does happen, especially to minorities. It happens quite a bit, and it's like, here's my card. Give me a call. We work with the biggest agencies, and we'll get them some auditions and blah blah blah. And then you call this number, and then they said, oh yeah, come on in. We'd love to have you come in. You come in, and they're like, here's the portfolio of everybody that we've worked with. Blah 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 blah. Yada yada yada.
They'll give us $20,000.
They'll start off slow, like, hey, listen. We have this introductory packet where you're going to get headshots because you're going to need headshots. There's no way you're going to get auditions without headshots. But here's a package. You'll get one acting class. You'll get your headshots. You'll get your this. You'll get your that. And it's blah, 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 blah. We take payments.
The hook.
You know what? It's but they'll hook. And then they'll charge us maybe $3,000, $5,000, right? But you could pay half now. You can make another payment, but it happens all the time. Oh, fucking Airbnb. You just want a trip to blah blah blah. You come to the trip thing, and then you go, and then they're selling you timeshares that are bullshit.
I get that a lot of shitty things happen, and it's a bait and switch. But I feel like, I don't know, like
you think there's a boundary with religion and spirituality?
I feel like there should be.
What there should and what there is are two different worlds.
I feel like there should be. I feel like people, do you remember that, who did we have on? I think Steve Hill, he was like, religion is hope. They give hope. And I think that sometimes that's all people have is hope. And how shitty of a human are you?
To capitalize on
that hope. Not only that, I'm going to tell you, the thing that bothers me the most since we're talking about it is these new santeros who don't know shit, who don't have a godparent to teach them shit, and who are making up shit. So, like, are you retarded? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you are a trip.
Yeah.
And when you want to do something, look, I got COVID and then I got bronchitis. I had not done baños or anything spiritual until last Saturday because doing spiritual work is tiring. If you did something yesterday for the full moon, it's invigorating, but there's a moment where you're tired. Right before you feel energized, you feel drained because it's a give and take with the energies. So it would be a disservice for me to do baños, do a misa. I don't feel good. So I had to wait it out because money is not everything.
You just said you haven't done baños.
No, until I felt better. I just did baños. Did baños yesterday.
You brought, this is a baño here.
That's a baño.
Right? This is a baño. And it's funny because I was going to ask you to bring one, and then I just said, you know what, it's got late, and then I forgot.
I remembered you wanted one, so I brought you one.
And so, you had brought me the herbs before.
Yeah, whenever I do that, people don't like those.
You know what? I didn't hate it.
No? Oh, good. Okay.
I did not hate it, and I'll tell you why. Because as I was preparing it, and I started adding the things that the direction said to add. I started setting the intention. of what I was gonna do, and then I started like that. Like already in my head, I'm already like working with it. You know,
that's what you're supposed to do. Like the mix of the herbs is sacred, and those herbs, even though they're dried, when I give them dry, they're preyed upon, and all that stuff that I add you to have you mix in is so that you set your intention. But sometimes people's energy is not as clear as it needs to be, and they don't feel the change with the baño. Whereas if I do it with my hands, right, like those, people have told me they feel the change right away.
Interesting.
But that's because I'm constantly doing what's called a bowl. I'm constantly cleaning myself. I'm constantly doing, like, I'm wiki every day, right? So.
And I think that there could also be a balance of the ones that you set for yourself and the one that's been prepared.
Yeah, I think so too.
That would be cool. That would be actually really cool. And I will pay attention to see the difference. Yeah. And I will say that the first few times that I did the baño, it was probably the second time where it was like, okay, I get it. Like it the first time was like, okay, yeah, whatever. But the second time, it was a little bit more clear. It was more real. It meant more.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to so baños are used. You don't need to be in a bathtub, by the way. It's mixed with water and you can pour it over yourself after a shower. But baños are used in our religion to clear you of negative energy, and depending on the herbs, attract certain energies. Because this baño is not a 21 mix. It's only hierbas from Ochun. So I did an Ochun baño this time. So then, like, you're attracting abundance and happiness and good vibes, and so that's what it's expelling the negative and then bringing in the positive. Which that's when we saw that guy selling the baño for $121. Remember?
Yes.
Back to those people.
And look, and here's the thing. I think that a lot of people will say, especially in Christianity and televangelists, and I just like your forte is Santeria, a lot of my knowledge is, or not knowledge, but a lot of the things that I can draw, a lot of my experience comes from the evangelical. Correct, right? And so, just like you're saying, he's selling the baño for $100, right? Which is $121. Okay. So it's like the we have these baños, like, and all I could think of is a televangelist. How would a televangelist handle a fucking baño, right?
That fucking baño would be $1,000.
So this is my point. He'd be like, we have this baño, and this baño here,
sacred, anointed.
For your gift of $20, you're going to get this baño. And this baño is made with 7 herbs. It's an Ochun baño that's going to bring you prosperity and abundance. And that's a great baño to have. But we have, I'll reach under here,
a blanket.
And then they'll bring another baño out, right? Now this here, this is the $121 baño. And we realize that something something really spiritual, a spiritual awakening happens at the $121 baño that does not happen at the $20 one. The $20 one is it's a great baño. And I think you should order them right now. As a matter of fact, if you order 2, you're going to get a third baño for free for the $40. So for $40, you're going to get 3 baños. Now, here we have the $121 baño. I'm telling you, if you want to see breakthroughs in your life, if you want to see miracles happen, if you want that abundance that you've been praying for, and you want the floodgates of open, you know what John 10:10 says? I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. The Lord wants you to live in abundance, and abundance has been found in the $121 baño. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
so you're saying I need to raise my prices?
No. I'm not saying you need to raise your prices. I'm saying that these people will justify this through scripture. God wants you to have abundance, and God wants you to bless us so that we can give.
I was reading something, and you just reminded me. I was reading about the prosperity gospel.
Oh, yes. It's amazing.
Get the did I text you
They have
about
jets.
it? Did I text you about it?
No, I've been looking, dude. I've been knowing about the prosperity gospel for the prosperity gospel.
Prosperity gospel.
Oh yeah,
shit?
God wants you to be prosperous. He does not want you to be poor. He does not want you to suffer in poverty. Our God is a righteous God. Our God is a giving God.
All these preachers who drive around in Bentleys use the prosperity gospel as their crutch.
Amen.
How
Hallelujah.
crazy is that?
So see, so that's the thing. A lot of these people, and it's not unique to Christianity and evangelicals or Santeria. This is something that has been around since the people were coming around with the goddamn snake oil.
But I feel like when we started when we decided to do the podcast, remember, we were like, we are going to like see everybody's views, right, on religion, and then also try to like be somewhat of a light, in these like crazy ass times, you know. Like, look, I'm gonna tell you something. The real estate market, like everything this year, the signal for the sign, everything, you have to use common sense. The real estate market, interest rates are going up. People are going to lose their houses. If you have a little bit of money saved, you're going to be able to invest it. There's going to be really rough times for people right now. And in rough times, people get very religious.
Oh, yeah. When things hit the fan, they get religious for a few reasons. The one most important one is because they've been programmed to think you motherfuckers have been being bad, and that's why these punishments are coming.
This is a punishment.
You don't fucking listen, and you got to turn back to the ways of old, you know? All you goddamn freaking feminists, stop it. Be submissive to your man. All you gays, stop fucking. That's why God's mad, and that's why these plagues are coming.
So like on the
this is literally what's being told and preached.
The good side of Santeria is that we don't care if you have sex or are gay. We don't really care. But in the Letra del Año, it does say that Olofi, God, is judging us. But not because we fornicate, and not because you smoke pot, and not because you do all these things. He's judging us because there's so many faranduleros. Faranduleros are people like Joel Osteen and all those people preaching all this shit, right? So what's happening? You know, we're going to go through a rough time, a cleansing, and we're going to go through a rough time this year, and a lot of people are going to pass away, and a lot of people who are older are going to pass away. And I feel like
you mentioned Steve Hill. I mean, I'm sorry that I cut you off.
Go
ahead.
Okay.
Finish with that. Finish with that. No, finish with that.
So I feel like, you know, with everything that's happening this year, I see a lot of different like subculture, like religious things coming up a lot. And I feel like I just feel so bad for people who will message me and tell me their story and be like, you know, I totally got bamboozled. But there are people too who think that they can like, you're going to do all kinds of spiritual work for free. It doesn't work that way either, you know, but there's like a very fine line.
There's a fine line for sure.
You know,
for sure. When I remember right now when you mentioned Steve, he's the dude that we had, the atheist guy who's running for office.
Satan. Or the Satanic.
The Satanic Temple. Satanic Temple, yeah. The Satanic Temple, and I asked you to watch the documentary, and I think you did.
I did.
And you were like, oh shit.
I liked it.
These Satanists, you know, if I had to give money to the Satanists or to Joel Osteen,
I'd give it to the Satanist.
If I have to give money to the Satanist or the Catholic Church,
I'd give it to the Satanist.
If I got to give money to the Satanist, do you see what I'm saying? Like, now you just said I'm not even going to ask anymore. The Mormons, the this, the that, you'd probably give it to the Satanist. And how the average person listening right now, and I don't want to say all our listeners or whatever, but the average person, period, if they hear you saying, I'd give my money to the Satanist before I give it to the Catholic Church, they're going to look at you like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? You are crazy, lady. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
here?
Because I think that the word Satan has that negative connotation. Like when you first told me to watch it, I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. But then when you watch it, it's really like they're more of like a political movement, really.
100%.
They're completely a political, that has nothing to do with like all the other shit. That a lot of stuff that they do, I feel like is for show and to get attention because they're intelligent and they're using all that
Well, they are also defining what a Satanist is.
Yeah.
Versus letting the press define it like they did during the Satanic Panic.
Yeah, and I feel like they have a higher code of ethics than most people. So, if you tell me, do I want to give my money to the Pope? No.
So they are in the news, the Satanic Temple is, because they have started a program.
For after school for the kids.
Correct. The Satanist Club. The Kids Satanist. The After School Satanist Club.
I saw that.
Okay, now, that is extremely provocative.
I saw that.
Now, do you send your kid to Christian camp or do you send them to the After School Satanist Club?
So I would have sent them to neither.
Okay.
So one, I think that children should be allowed to grow up. My son is a santero. Should be allowed to grow up, and if it's not your parents teaching you something, I don't think you should send them to anything.
No, this Satanist club, what are they teaching them?
So they're not really teaching them anything because I read into it. Mm-hmm. It's just a club because there's certain schools.
There's after school program. It's an after school
Christian
program.
Kids and whatever, and they just want to have an open space for kids to be able to express themselves who don't fit into the norm, right?
Correct. And so why is that? I don't know that I would send my kid and say, hey, you got to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't
But if
send
my kid would say to me, hey, there's a Satan club.
And I want to
go. I don't think that I'd be like, no, the devil's going to take your soul.
So since I didn't raise my son with any notion of the devil, right? Mm-hmm. I think that with anything with kids, I would just read into it. And as soon as I saw what it was, I'd probably be okay with it and let him try it. I think children learn by your example. So, even like when you take psychology classes, it's always, is it nature or is it nurture? And it's usually nurture. Mm-hmm. You could have one parent, you could be fathered by someone and somebody else raises you and you're more like the person who raises you, right? So I feel like kids should be allowed to express things. We have LGBTQ after school stuff, right? Mm-hmm. My son's school has those classes or those like clubs. They have like whatever. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that.
Do you let them hang out with those sinner kids?
With those, fuck yeah. So I don't. How can I not have like gay godchildren? But funny that my son came home and told me about that club. Okay, so I'm like, what club are you gonna join? And he's like, I'm gonna join. He's running, right? The running club. I'm like, okay. I go, well, are any of your friends in that other club? He's like, all the girls are in the LGBTQ club. He's like, I should join that club because there's no dudes, right? He's like, it's all girls. And I'm like, really? That's weird.
What a toxic motherfucker.
I was like, there's all girls. And he's like, yeah, it's all girls, Mom. He's like, I don't even think they're really gay. I think they just want to hang out and do fun shit because it's all girls. So... But, they're 8th grade. I don't know what
the fact
what
that those
entails.
clubs even exist, I think, is fantastic, right? Because back when I was in elementary school or in middle school, if you were gay, you were getting fucking picked on. This was in the 80s.
Yeah, I was in the 90s, and it wasn't talked about as openly as it is now. But you
weren't getting bullied.
You weren't getting bullied.
No, holy shit, I think in Texas somebody was like, they were killing people. They were still killing people. There's people in prison for hate crimes. There was so many hate crimes. They would go, it was a thing to go to Boys Town to gay bash. Gay bashing, that's a term that didn't just get made up because one person got their ass kicked. It was a thing.
So I feel like I was really like privileged in the sense that I got along with everybody, so I never had a problem. But and maybe they knew I was a witch, but I found out recently that like at my school, a lot of the guys who I hung out with were like getting beat up because they wouldn't like join a gang, right? I grew up in Linwood, and they were like, yeah, I got my ass kicked all, freshman year. You didn't know? And I was like, that happened. But I know of that people would get their ass kicked for being gay. That just didn't happen.
Yeah, no, Boys Town, it was a thing to go to Boys Town and beat guys up. It was horrible. Like they literally had to pass laws to protect the community.
I think that those things stay so ingrained in your mind. Like one of my godchildren who's gay, we had a conversation about who do you want to date? And the first thing he told me was, well, he has to be able to defend himself. And I said, why? Like, that's such a weird thing. He's like, because if they try to do something to us, I can't defend myself and him. And I was like, oh, that still happens? That like broke my heart. I was like,
I don't know if it's still,
that?
I'm sure that it still happens, not as much as it used to. Because again,
But
like
the fact
we're
that,
talking
like,
40 years ago. Think about 40 years ago. I mean, look, back in the day, Tanya, it wasn't that long ago that people were coming out of the closet.
Well, it's like 2022 and he's still worried about, can we both defend ourselves?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that we are extremely unique living in Southern California.
Yeah.
Because if you go to a lot of middle America, they are not okay with any of the progressive thought process that are happening, the paradigm shift that has happened. You know, there's still a lot of schools that there's still places where parents are saying, no, I don't want my kid exposed to pronouns or be, you know, this is not something that I want. Like, no, this is a he. He is a he, and don't you dare ask him, how do you identify? Clearly, you see that he's a he, goddammit. You know, there's still a lot of people that feel that way, and they're voicing their concerns. I mean, there's debates over that and critical race theory. Not just critical race theory, but again, what these conservative parents would call the gay agenda. Like, these people they have this agenda to just gayify everybody. Is what they're afraid of that. This is not a new thing. This is a thing that's still happening in states in the United States of America in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in West Virginia, they had the first openly gay mayor in the town I was in, and they hate her.
Wow.
Everything is her fault, right? And I was like, man, it must be hard to be this lady. I don't think that being gay makes you an asshole. I don't think being straight makes you nice. I think it's across the board, right? But I do think that, like with anything, we take it to so many extremes. I do think that there are parents who kind of thrive off of making their child like a poster child for a movement. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's never okay too. Because I think that there's always backlash. And I think that you're a kid for such a small amount of time.
Enjoy being a kid.
Just be a fucking kid. You want to be known as he, she, they, them, you, whatever the fuck you want. But have it be your decision. Don't have it be somebody else's decision or used as propaganda for some effort. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
So... And we got on this because of the Satanic Temple and their after school program. So there's all these programs for all these kids, which I think is fantastic. And they are criticizing. So the Lucian was just on Tucker Carlson. And the headline, I haven't seen the clip, but
Lucian is the perfect person to head that organization.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, the whole look just works, right?
Yes. And so Tucker Carlson takes on the Satanists, which is like, it took everything in my power not to click. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, that's clickbait. If I've ever, like, that should be in the definition of fucking clickbait, right? And I'm like, okay, let me just take a step back. And let me just chill and then revisit this
at a later time.
Yeah, when I want to revisit this, not because this shit's like, what the fuck, Tucker. Listen, you know, he's the dude is entertaining if nothing else. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
Yes.
He's a fucking lunatic, and his facial expressions.
He reminds me of Wally George. Do you remember Wally George?
Yes. He is a modern day Wally George. Wally, I mean, remember, that was the punks, the gays, the heavy metal craze. Like, those were all the bad things, you know? And Wally was just defending America.
It was hilarious.
And America family values. It was such a ridiculous character, but he spoke to a lot of people, Tanya.
Because I think that there's a lot of people looking for guidance. Like, why do people turn to, like, so many things? Like Like, it's a trip. Like, if you see how many followers certain like Instagram celebrities have, and like how it's so easy for people to just follow their lead. Like, this is not okay. Okay, this is not okay. This is okay. Okay, this is okay. Because we're brought up to kind of not think for ourselves, I feel like. That goes back to even your schooling. Like, you know, we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance in class because we're going to thank America, you know, and now they don't. But, you know, like now we're going to do this and you're only going to learn this history. You're not going to learn that history. So I feel like it's a lot of conditioning to have you be like a worker bee as opposed to thinking out of the box for yourself. And in the last, you know, 20 years, we've been trying to break out of that. So of course we're going to get a lot of like crazy false prophets and things you can follow. And I just think that it's like crazy.
Again, I'm going to go ahead back and say that the Satanic Temple is, if I had to join any freaking organization, it would probably be them.
Well, remember I wanted to join so they could send me my certificate?
Yeah.
And you just reminded me I'm going to do it because
I'm going to do it too.
They posted and they were like, for $50, if you donate $50 to our Satanist club, you'll get like a coloring book and something else. And it's not the coloring book, but I think I think there are kids who are going through a lot at home who maybe need that.
People got up in arms about it, just like they got up in arms when the transgender community started doing the reading after school at the libraries, and people were like, "What are these perverts doing with these kids? They're reading them a fucking book. Leave them alone. Why don't you go read them a goddamn book? How come you don't go read them? Kids like books. They like people to read to them.
And you have an option. Don't fucking go.
Oh, dude, but
if you don't like something, don't fucking go.
How ridiculous.
But don't
that's
boycott
so ridiculous. It's so
when other people want to go.
So I feel that that's the same thing that's happening right now with this after school program. I just think, you know, it's like day camp when you walk out with a little Satan fucking t-shirt.
Imagine if they give you a little patch. That'd be fucking cool.
Dude, it'd be fucking awesome. You know, I'm an ordained minister.
Yes. Which reminds me, I have to ask you something later. Okay.
And every month, I get an email, a newsletter, right? Dear Minister Martin.
You should just clip that part and post it. That's the best I've heard today.
Dear Minister Martin.
Somebody calls you Minister Martin?
Oh, yeah, on a formal email.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, I'm fucking Minister Martin, cabrón. I have some respect. And so,
to you.
Okay, this baño you gave me, I blessed it. Guess how much it's worth now, bitch?
It's $1,021.
And take off your clothes so I can wash you. I'm going to charge you extra, but I'll fucking sacrifice.
Oh my God. Minister Martin.
And so, anyway, they send me this newsletter. Dear Minister, I hope everything's well. This is what's been going on. And then they'll send me about 3 to 4 different blogs.
Oh, okay.
With stories that are happening in the spiritual / religious world.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty fascinating, actually. And then you click on these, and then it'll have a ton of comments from people that are all in this ministry, and they all have their piece to say about it, right? So they'll send you the stories like the bakery that refuses to make the cakes for the homosexual weddings, and
how stupid is that?
So yeah, but anyway, like when it goes to the legal grounds, they will follow that story and keep you
like updated.
With like, okay, this is where this stands now, or this lady got killed because she was part of this fundamentalist group, and of course she betrayed somebody, and like the punishment is you know. And so there's like these crazy, like it goes from the most ridiculous shit to some really like what the fuck moments, right? And it's fascinating. And so you're supposed to take these as a as a ¿cómo se dice? A blueprint.
Okay.
For the message that you're going to give. So they usually give you 4, so you have one for every day, for every week.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And this is what
topics.
These are the topics that the ministry is covering this month.
Okay.
And this is what you know, when you prepare for discussion for your group of people, this is what you have to work with. So, like, if you are a minister with the Catholic Church, if you're a priest, it's not like you wake up and you say, today I'm going to talk about Peter, or today I'm going to talk about, you know, this or that. The Vatican has bishops and things like that.
And they send you like a
send,
syllabus.
Correct. Of this is the message for this week. This is the
That's
message.
why they all kind of coincide.
Correct. And it's the same thing with the evangelicals. If you're a member of the Assemblies of God, then the Assemblies of God will send you the message for this is the message for this, is the message for that. And of course, they have independent studies that some of these preachers do. Independent of that, they'll throw that in along with whatever message they're also doing, right? So it's a mixture of the two. Like, as long as you touch on this and then whatever series it is that you're doing, you want to do that on abundance, you want to do it on healing, you want to do it on salvation, whatever it is that you want to do. And I've what this last month, or this was last month, or either this month or the month before. They sent me the top 10 of 2021.
Okay.
And so now I'm like looking at these and I'm like, these are fucking. Hey, Chiki, can we get some water?
Sorry.
The
Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit is touching you.
Not like the shit we're talking.
And you know, the Holy Spirit loves it. What's
okay,
that,
so
Holy Spirit? Really?
Okay, we're gonna
keep going. All right. And so they send me the top 10 and I'm going through them and I'm like, oh my God, this is fascinating. Like, you know,
in reality, or you're talking shit?
No. And no, it's fascinating. Like legit and like reality. Like, I'm like, this is a freaking, like, this is what people should be understanding about what's going on with this part of, you know, because we tend to read the headlines of things and then it just goes away, but it doesn't go away. It's still
just something else comes and then
takes the attention away from it, you know. And everybody goes to church on Sunday, everybody does their thing, and I'm like, you know, I'm thinking to myself, because I was doing during the lockdown the heretic ministries.
Okay.
And on Sundays I'd go live. You know, it'd be 420 friendly, alcohol friendly, and there'd be a message. And I'd go live with it. And sometimes there was fucking 50 people. Sometimes there was fucking 30 people. Sometimes there was 100 people. And then they'd get pissed. And then it'd go down to fucking 20 people. Yeah, because I was saying some fucking outlandish shit. And I was telling Chiki, I said, you know, I think, and what I was saying earlier is that I started using any opportunity I had to shit on the religion, I would use it. Because that's how angry I was. But that's not productive, and nor do people just want to be fucking, you know, ambushed and fucking, hey, whatever. Like, nobody wants that shit, right? But I do enjoy speaking on topics like the Satanic Temple, like Jesus Camp, like and so I'm like, I need to figure out how to start delivering this message, because I've got years and years of fucking these messages that these people have sent me in emails. I never delete them, and so I've got this giant fucking
Rolodex of things you could talk
about.
Correct.
Yeah. That is just, and I'm like, I there's something that's always told me that I want to, you know, be a minister. I am a minister, but like a real minister, you know? But I don't want to just shit on things.
When I told you that you had a spirit that had to do with some kind of ministry, like some kind of evangelical.
I never make fun of you,
yes,
Thanya.
You
You're a bruja. I'm afraid to make fun of you.
He's not afraid of me at all. He does. He should be. No, but he does. You have some kind of like preacher. I mean, you have a lot of different things going on, right? But one of them is like, I mean, you have that Arab guy with the Sanskrit stuff and all that, but you also have like a evangelical person, and then the ties to your grandmother and your mother who were very religious.
Very religious.
Those things also come up, right? Like so isn't that funny how Egun works? How spirits work?
Mm-hmm.
Like you spent your life shitting all over religion.
Yes.
And no matter how much you fight it, you could go in 20 circles, but you're going to end up, if you're intelligent and open, where you need to be. And the peace that you're going to get from accepting where you need to be, kind of a thing, is so big, right? Like when my mom first got me to go get collares, like eleques, and I was like, I don't want to do this religion. I'm never going to kill a chicken. I was like 14. I don't want to do this. And I think back and I was like, oh my God, like I was such an asshole to my mom. And she was just trying to protect me because she was scared. Like she got into Santeria and they scared her. You know, that's how they got her to do saints so quickly. That, you know, that's why we try not to scare people into things. And I feel like I did all these things. You know, everybody in the house who's been at the house with us for a long time knows that I would be the person who would come into masses, say what I had to say, like literally get verbal diarrhea, be like, you this, you this, you this, you this. And then I'd be like, I'm leaving. And I would leave.
Just drop the mic.
Yeah. And my mom
You're welcome.
And my mom would be like, you cannot do that shotgun fucking mediumship that you do and then go out because you're going to go get a beer. Like, that's not okay, Thanya. And I'd be like, why? Like, I told them what they need to say, you know? And then I started building a rapport and a respect for what my mother did and for what I do. And it's so different, right? But it's so funny to me how you can go in circles
and end up there.
Like it's so funny to me.
You know, I've always like people go to church on Sundays. I've always pictured a Sunday service with weed, mimosas, and a message. It's not religious. It's just a service.
So this is where Martina and I differ.
Yeah.
So I feel like anything that impairs you is not good with spirituality. My personal belief, right? You could do whatever you like, but I feel like you have to, the veil, the realm that you're going into is so delicate that you're not going to know. So you're going to doubt yourself even more. Because right now, if things happen to you, you doubt it sometimes, right?
So I would agree with you if what I was doing was a ritual or a
I think you could have a service and have people put it, like we could do let's say, okay, Brujo 101, we're going to do a brunch and we're going to do good vibes.
So I think that a religious service is way different than, and there's many different types of services.
I think a ceremony, not even a service. I think if there's a ceremony that you're going to partake in and you really are going to lift that veil, we call it a veil, what separates you between the subconscious and the conscious, you shouldn't do any
and
any of that.
And I don't think that I would do that. And I don't think that I'm even qualified to do any type of ceremony per se.
This is why I like you. There's so many people who've had ceremonies done and think they can do it. Ceremonies are complicated.
Right.
But I do think you could do a service, which is...
It's like the Satanic Temple.
Be of service, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like be of service, and you could do whatever you want. Look, I love a good brunch. You know this. I love a good... I like to day drink because I'm a professional. And that's what professionals do.
So my point to all that is that and also not to be confrontational, but there are plenty. There's so much documentation that supports spirituality and both psychedelics and cannabis.
I totally, and I've read a lot, and I know that the Bible supports cannabis.
But even before the Bible.
And I know peyote, and I know all those things. I am not a practitioner of any of those sex religiously. In my religion, we don't do any of that. I'm not even, remember when we had Lenny on, and I was like, oh, you're going to throw up and poop and do it? I don't want to do it. It doesn't sound fun. You know,
the combo.
Yeah, I want to do something. What the other guy do that we were like, we could do that?
DMT?
Yeah, mushrooms? Where they said we don't get sick. I was like, I'm down with that, but I don't want to do anything that's violent to my...
Yeah, no, I don't want to throw up. I don't want to.
And I definitely don't want to shit myself.
And I don't want to shit myself.
I don't want to do
either.
any of that.
No,
I don't want to do any of that.
No. I'm not a fan of shitting myself.
Yeah, I don't want to do it at all.
I mean, I've done it when I'm wasted, but I don't want to do it.
I mean, I've never done it, not even when I gave birth.
You didn't shit yourself?
Nope. I was so paranoid. You know, the doctor.
You've never shit yourself in your life?
I've never shit myself in my life. I'm sure as a baby. I've never shit myself as an adult. Why are you so shocked? Who do you hang out with?
I mean...
Okay. But no, I have never shit myself in my life. That's not something that I like do. Not even when I got pregnant, I like literally only ate soup so because I was so paranoid about shitting myself on the table because they say you shit yourself.
Yes,
right?
that's the word on the street.
That's what they say. So I was like, nope. I had a C-section anyway, but yeah, I got a C. I didn't know, but
but yeah, But yeah, I mean, like, so again, there's
I've never shit myself is the best part of this podcast.
You've never shit yourself? What the hell?
I've also never dropped my phone in a toilet, a la Martin.
Yeah, I've peed on my phone when it was in my pocket.
Did you keep that phone?
No, I think I was useless.
Oh, you completely peed on it, like.
Oh, dude, like I was soaked, like just like when you just lose all bodily functions, and you're like, look, not everybody drinks the same, and I used to drink really irresponsibly, like I'm talking about pounding just alcohol. But you don't have to drive, like tell.
The drunkest I've ever gotten was in Rosarito when I was like 18, and I stayed at the Gaviotas, those white houses.
No, exactly.
And I didn't make it back with my friend, and they literally found me on a bush leaning like this, asleep in the morning because I just didn't make it in. And
see, that's scary.
Yeah, that's the drunkest I've ever gotten, and I'm so lucky nothing happened to me. And ever since then, I'm like, come on, y'all, I'm a mom, I'm spiritual.
I mean, look, I'm not proud of doing alcoholic things, but I'd be a hypocrite. I'd be a hypocrite to say that I have not drank to stupid, levels. I mean, shit. I had 2 goddamn DUIs. That's not okay. That's now when I look at these stories of these people that are there was another raider that got a DUI. The other dude just killed somebody. There was a fire because the car was so violent.
Wasn't there a guy who just also plays football and was arrested naked outside somewhere?
Oh, probably.
Yeah, like I just saw it on the phone. Like he was buck naked outside.
And but I'm thinking to myself, like, how your teammate just killed somebody. He's looking at life in prison, and you're still driving drunk. Like, in an age of Uber and Lyft, not to make excuses for when I did it, but how else?
What am I gonna do?
And not that that's an excuse, and that's horrible to say. Even it's now that I'm verbalizing, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like,
I think
pass out in the back seat.
I think it's also different times.
Of course, it was. People were, shit. Listen, Dare and Mad didn't come until after I was grown.
Not only that, I feel like it's just different. It's just different times, and I feel like everybody goes through whatever they have to go through in their own life, right? Mm-hmm. And I just luckily have never shit myself or peed on my phone.
Shitting yourself,
but
so anyway, again, I think that not every spiritual practice is going to be identical to every other spiritual practice. Again, there's plenty of documentation of marijuana and hallucinogens and other spirits. I mean, shit. Alcohol is called
spirits.
Correct. So the Catholic Church uses wine in their ceremonies and things.
Yeah, like I see, but they don't use it excessively, right? So then you kind of like get into that slippery slope kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I try to just tell people, like I get a lot of messages on Ashe asking me about a lot of different things. And when it comes to things that I don't practice, my usual response is I'm a santera. I mean, I couldn't tell you what that's about because that's not my forte.
That's not your not your place.
So if it's worked for you, good on you, mm-hmm. But I can't tell you if it's right, wrong. I
think spirituality is something that is I think ceremony, ritual, and tradition are very defined.
Okay.
But I think spirituality I don't want to say that you can customize it, but it's a lot more personal.
I think spirituality is a relationship between you and whatever spirit you're communing with.
Or energy.
Right? And I think that if you come to me and get a reading and I tell you that you have to put something to ego into spirit, I'm going to tell you the way that we do it.
Correct.
Right? But if you're a person who already comes with a spiritual base and you are comfortable with making moon water, you're comfortable with doing, I'm not going to tell you not to do it. There's a sign in Santeria when you consult yourself that tells you, no te salgas de tus costumbres. So whatever you're accustomed to, keep doing it.
Don't leave your customs.
Don't leave your customs, because if you leave those customs, things are going to go wrong because you've been attending something and working with something, and it's going to get upset when you stop.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it could not be a Santeria spirit. It could be a different kind of spirit.
Dude, I feed the birds, and if I don't feed the birds, I feel like I'm not doing, I feel like I have to feed these fuckers.
You know that we feed the birds the santeros for abundance?
Nah, see, I just feed the birds.
We feed the birds too.
I feed them bird seed, and I feed them almonds. And as a matter of fact, I go to Costco and specifically get bags of different nuts, specifically for the freaking birds.
Very nice of you.
You know, and if I'm running out, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm almost out. I got it. Sometimes I'll go to Costco because I'm out of fucking almonds for the birds.
My mom's like that about the bird. Like, she buys the mix, and if she's running out, she's like, no, you gotta, like, it'll be like 10 o'clock at night, and she's like, go to Petco. There's no bird stuff. I'm like, what?
See, these
birds aren't even ours. I'm like, they're out on the fucking street.
They're wild birds. Yeah. It's like blue jays. I feed blue jays, and then there's other birds that come around.
That's how we got a family of raccoons.
The squirrels are back. Yeah, I feed the squirrels.
When you guys get a family of raccoons, hit me up, because that's how we got one. Because we kept leaving stuff out for the birds to eat, and the raccoons came. A whole family.
The raccoons are...
They're fucking scary.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a possum.
No, the raccoons are scary because they have little hands with digits. And
I know raccoons. I know they're bears.
Yeah, they're fucking scary.
Yeah. Okay.
We digress.
We're gonna, let's wrap it up. I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. And, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Brujo 101, where, here we talk about everything, I think. But if you need any type of, if you want a baño, hit up at Ashe Imports. Do you have a website, or is it still on your Instagram?
I'm working on the website, guys. I got COVID in the middle of it. So just hit me up on Insta, DM me.
DM you, and it is
Ashe Imports.
Ashe Imports
on Instagram.
And you're really good about putting stuff up on and keeping it updated and up to date with the things that you have, whether it be bracelets, baños, or crystals, sage.
Yeah.
I love that you're because a lot of times people come back and it's like it's the same thing. That's like you are constantly you're very proactive, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, our stuff, like my stuff constantly changes, and then I'm trying to put more. This year I made a vow to try to put more information out there about Santeria. So like if you see my first post of the year had to do with Ochun, explaining who she is, some of the things that are said wrong about her. I'm going to be putting things about a legua, how to attend a legua. I'm going to do a thing on Sundays now, and I'm going to let people ask me whatever they want to ask me. I just put something up this Sunday about how to have a fresher week, trying to get everybody as much help out there to have a better, auric energy and navigate through 2022.
Thank you. Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
And Satara Kata Shanda.